Good morning and welcome to Ringer Sports Studio. Today is Sunday, November the 17th. I'm Ringer Senior and I'm here with
Ringer Junior.
And we are broadcasting our NFL edition for Ringer Sports Studio. If you haven't had a chance to check us out, please do so. We are a father-son duo talking professional sports, sides, totals, props, team totals, teasers, parlays, you name it, we got it. We talk about them all. We give our best bets and favorite picks of each and every day, especially on NFL Sunday. So this would be our NFL Sunday edition. Didn't get a chance to broadcast over the last couple of days. We were in the basketball games the last couple of days, but we're back in action today for NFL. Coming off a pretty dismal day yesterday in college football, we went 1-4. So pretty tough sledding yesterday. Was very surprised at some of the upset picks and things that came through on the picks that we did have, unfortunately. But that's the way it goes. We're still having a pretty solid year this year. 5% plays, which is our favorite picks, are still rolling pretty good. Our 5% play clip right now is sitting at 31-18 for a 63.3% winning percentage, and that is since we started posting our videos back in late August, early September. So pretty good run on our 5% plays. We have, I believe, we've got at least one, if not two, 5% plays. One today and one tomorrow. That I will talk about for one, and Ringer Junior will talk about for the other. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the action. We got a pretty good slate today. We've one thing I will share, and I posted in my last video, is that we're looking at more lower volume and more quality types of picks as opposed to high volume. We're doing a lot of 2 and 3% plays, sometimes 14 or 15 plays a day. And when obviously with college football and college basketball and NBA action all kicking off, we got a little excited about jacking up our picks, but it hasn't worked out too well. So we're going back to lower volume, higher quality, and higher percentage plays to try and be more prescriptive on what our favorite picks are. Because usually our best picks are the best ones that come through, which you've seen with the 63.5% clip on our 5% play. So we're trying to scope those out more efficiently. And that's why we've got two on the docket here today, as well as a couple of 4% plays. So go ahead and flip it over to Ringer Junior. He's going to walk through. He's got a couple of sides and totals, and also a couple of props that he's going to review with you folks today. Ringer Junior.
With my first few picks here, I actually have four props in the day that I'm really confident, really confident that they're going to come in. With my first one, I'm going to look at Russell Wilson over 232.5 passing yards. In the first two games of the year, he did go over this. I believe he had about 265 and 275. But Baltimore gives up 295 passing yards to quarterbacks this year. That is the worst in the NFL. And against Baltimore, every single QB has gone over except for one on their line. So I'm going to look at the over 232.5 passing yards for Russell Wilson. I'm gonna take all these props as lanes 2% plays. With my next one here, I'm also going to look in the exact same game on the other quarterback, Lamar Jackson, over 235.5 passing yards. He's gone over this in eight of the 10 games this year. The two games that he did not get this, he threw the ball only 18 times and 15 times against Dallas and Buffalo. They were up in both those games, heavy by 20 points the entire game in both those. And I think this game will be a lot more closer. Interdivision game against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. I think he'll have to throw the ball a bit more, probably 25 times, and I think he'll definitely get over the 235.5 passing yard total. Also, a lean to a 2% play there. Heading over to the Detroit game versus Jacksonville. I'm gonna look at Jared Goff under 28.5 passing attempts. I do not see him throwing the ball a lot this game. He's gone under this in 8 of 9 games this year, and they should be up in this game by 14 to 21 points the entire game, I'd say, and they should probably hand the ball off 35 times. I don't see Goff having more than 25 passing attempts in this game. In a game they should be just killing Jacksonville. So I'm going to look at the under 28.5 passing attempts. And in my last prop, I'm going to look at Kelsey over 64.5 receiving yards. He's gone over this in 6 of his last 7 games against Buffalo, and he has just owned them over the last 5 years. Buffalo is giving up the 5th most targets to tight ends and also giving up the 9th most receptions to tight ends. I see him probably having 7 or 8 receptions for, I don't know, 70 to 80 yards, getting him over this 64.5 receiving yard total.
All right, there you have it. Lots of picks coming from Ringer Junior. That very good analysis, very good script that you put together on the rationale and reasons why. I know you've been in the lab looking at some of those favorite ones, and we know that a lot of props are out there and a lot of props happen. So it's really crafty to find the best ones for you for that specific scripting. So great job there, Ringer Junior. All right, I'm going to jump into my picks. I'm going to start with I've got a side here looking at Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. Green Bay's 5.5 road favorite heading into Chicago. Very tough place to play. But both of these teams in the NFC North are used to playing each other, in their stadiums. Looking at Green Bay here as the side for a couple reasons. You know, probably fading the Bears is probably the biggest reason, but the other one is looking at Green Bay coming off that tough loss to Detroit a couple of weeks ago. Was a big game, big matchup. Detroit managed to, I think, win by 10. Green Bay's coming off a bye, lots of time to prepare for the Chicago Bears. The Bears have been a dumpster fire the last few weeks. They started out really well. Their defense was holding them in games, and now they've lost three in a row. And they were struggling behind the quarterback. The only concern I do have with this game specifically is the Bears have a new offensive coordinator, so they're probably going to put in a different type of mix of plays. The offense might be rejuvenated because of this, but Green Bay needs to get back on track after that loss with Detroit, and I do see them putting up points against this Bears defense, even though the Bears defense is pretty stout. Green Bay's been putting up a lot of points over the last number of weeks. I think Detroit they only had 17, but three of the last five they've been into the 30s. So I think they're gonna. I don't think the Bears offense can stay pace with this. That's why I really like the 5.5. So give me Green Bay 5.5 as road favorites as a 4% play. I think Glove's going to come in and really match up well against the Chicago defense, and I can see them winning by close to 10 points probably. I see this a 9 or 10 point win. For Green Bay, the offensive coordinator change does scare me a little bit. The only other thing that scares me a bit with Green Bay scoring points is the Bears trying to control the clock a little bit with running the ball and getting a lot of touches on the ground, which get the clock moving. However, that is going to lead me into my second play, which is also a 4% play. I'm looking at the Green Bay team total over 23.5. As I mentioned, this offense is really strong now that Love is much more healthy. He's been able to put up a fair amount of points each and every game. Like I said, they only scored 17 against. Sorry, they only scored 14, 24-14 against Detroit, but they had 30 against Jacksonville, 24 against Houston. Houston solid defense, 34 against Arizona, not so good of a decent defense, and 24 against the Rams. So I guess 4 of the last 5, and I haven't even looked any deeper than that, they've been able to get up and over this 23.5 total. Again, running the clock scares me a bit. I can see the Bears getting up early by a couple of touchdowns, and then the Bears pressing to get back, and you'll have to throw the ball and slow the clock down, or it'll slow the clock down by having to throw the ball. And of course, the quarterback there's not the greatest, so it'll be lots of incompletion. So give me up and over 23.5 Green Bay 4% play team total. All right, shifting gears. I do have a 5% play, but I'm going to jump into another 4% play that I've already liked, and it's a teaser, and I really like this one. I may even juice it up a little bit more, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm looking at a teaser. Fortunately, in the books that we use, you have to have at least 3 games. I know the handicappers usually talk about 2-game teasers only to kind of get it down to a normal odd based on a single play. But I've got a 3-team teaser here that I really like. So I'm going to start with the Kansas City Buffalo game. I like Kansas City on the side here, adding 6.5 teaser points, which is what we took on this one, getting it up to 7 points, which is getting up to a 9.5. So Kansas City's not going to lose by 10 points against Buffalo. It's just not going to happen. And as everyone knows, Mahomes as an underdog, his record is absolutely off the charts, winning outright. He already did it this year against San Francisco. Now they're usually not an underdog, but this one they're a small dog. I think it lines up to 2 now, 2.5 maybe. We've got this at plus 9.5 with Kansas City. They will keep the game within a touchdown. Buffalo probably may win the game, but they're not going to win by margin. So I like Kansas City plus 9.5. Also like Miami, pretty much a money line win against Las Vegas. Las Vegas heading to Miami. Miami had that pretty solid game last week with their offense. Tua's coming back into his norm. The big win last week, which was unexpected. So All we need them to do is win straight up. We got Miami a 0, which means they just need a win at home, which I think is going to happen against Las Vegas. Las Vegas may surprise some folks, but I think Miami's defense played extremely well last week, and I expect them to show up again today. And then my third pick is Minnesota at Tennessee. They're sitting at a 6-point favorite right now, which seems like a trap game overall, with Tennessee being absolutely horrible. But Minnesota wants to get it right after putting up only 12 points in last week's 12-7 win against Jacksonville. Powerful offense. I cannot see Tennessee staying pace with this pretty strong offense. So those are the three games. We got Kansas City plus 9.5, Miami on the money line or 0, and we got Minnesota plus 1. Even if they lose by 1 point, that still comes in. So I really like that one. That's a 4% play as well. And then rounding out my last pick, which is my 5% play, is heading right back to that Minnesota game, Minnesota and Tennessee, which we're looking at team total wise. So we're looking at Minnesota over 23.5 points to the Tennessee Titans. Again, last week, 12-7. The offense was shut down, bunch of turnovers. Doesn't make sense for that Minnesota team to score that least amount of points. They're looking to get it right here. They only put up 21 against Indy. They only put up 20 to the Rams. They did put up 29 to the Lions a few weeks ago, and then 23 to the Jets. All pretty solid defenses, and Tennessee's defense is not the greatest, although they do like keeping games much lower. They gave up 27 to the Chargers last week, which is not a really good offensive team. They gave up 17 to the Patriots, not a good offensive team. They gave up 52 to Detroit, good offensive team, similar to Minnesota. They gave up 34 to Buffalo, good offense, same as Minnesota. And then, of course, Indy, dumpster fire there. Doesn't matter what the score was. They're not going to put up that many points regardless of who they play. So really like Minnesota to get back on track. 5% play, looking to get to 32 and 18 on our 5% play. And then did you talk about your 5% of Ringer Jr.?
Yeah.
We're going to go back to Ringer Jr. for his 5%, which is even better. So that's going to round out my total. I was going to flip it back to Ringer Jr. for his last pick, which is a Monday night 5% play. Ringer Jr.
With my 5% play, I'm going to look at this Houston Texans team over 12.5 team total against Dallas. Dallas has not played well in their last 4 home games. In the first half, they've given up 21, 24, 24, and 27 points. Just have not done well at all at home. In the first half, this defense, they do have Micah Parsons back, but even with him back, this Houston offense does score 14 points in the first quarter. They put up 23 against a pretty decent Detroit offense, only 13 the week before to the Jets, but they just have such a good offense. With Nico Collins back, I can see him getting in the end zone, probably Mixon getting in the end zone all in the first half. I see them easily scoring 2 touchdowns, easily 5% play, probably my best pick of the week. So I'm going to look at the over 12.5, and even if they don't score 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals does it as well. So 12.5, 5% play, best pick of the week.
There you go. Going all out with that 5%er. So looking to cash in 2 of those. There you have it. There's a wrap. Ringer Jr., what's your recap?
With all my props, I'm going to look at Russell Wilson over 232.5 passing yards, Kelsey over 64.5 receiving yards, Lamar Jackson over 235.5 passing yards, Jared Goff under 28.5 passing attempts in on Monday night, Houston Texans over 12.5 team total as a 5% play.
There you have it. There's Ringer Jr.'s pick. Quick recap. Green Bay road favorites minus at 5.5 against the Bears. We got their Green Bay team total over 23.5. Both of those are 4% plays. Minnesota team total over 23.5 as a 4%. As my 5% play. And then my teaser, which I absolutely love, is a 4% play. We got Kansas City plus 9.5, Miami just to win, and Minnesota plus 1. Rounding out Ringers, juniors, and seniors, and a Ringer Sports Studio picks for Sunday, NFL, November the 17th. Please like, subscribe, share our YouTube channel. Again, we're pretty amateur when it comes to this stuff, but we're pretty smart on the stats and understanding, and do a lot of research based on handicappers that we follow. We've had some pretty good success. 5% plays are amongst the best, just like they are with some of the top pros out there in this business. So give us a like, check us out, post 4 or 5 videos a week. Lots of fun doing it. Have a great Sunday. If you like them, you might cash them. Have a great Sunday.